Berea police are going door to door trying to track down images of the driver who hit and killed a man this weekend.
An Eastern Kentucky judge accused of threatening a police officer will be allowed to stay on the bench. How he is being punished.
With the Keeneland Fall meet less than 2 weeks away, officials are looking for your help for the upcoming races.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good afternoon to you. A little closer to justice. Tonight, Berea police have identified the truck they're looking for in connection to a deadly hit and run.
Police tell us someone driving a red pickup hit and killed 71-year-old Billy Croucher at the corner of Prospect and 4th Street late Friday night. Our Kristen Kennedy is in Berea with our top story at 5:30.
A lot of people walk in Berea, and Charlie Croucher says his father was no exception.
Walked around, talked to everybody.
For the last 15 years, he says the 71-year-old walked around town with a little dog. Last week, Charlie says a driver hit and killed the dog. He didn't expect another driver to hit and kill his dad.
Could have been an accident, very well, you know. His mental shape was getting bad, you know what I mean? He could have walked right up in front of somebody, but, you know, they didn't have to leave him laying there. I wish that somebody would come forward.
Croucher's son told us it wasn't unusual to see his father walking at night. He often walked around town.
I just wish somebody would have done something instead of just letting him lay there, you know, like a dog or something on the side of the road. But, you know, there's cruel people in the world.
Investigators went door to door Monday morning, visiting downtown business owners.
Hey, how you doing?
Hoping their surveillance cameras caught a glimpse of the vehicle.
We're just trying to check the businesses along this road.
Or of the victim.
We're just trying to do all that we can do to get any kind of description of the vehicle and hopefully eventually identify the vehicle and the driver.
They're now looking for the driver of a red pickup truck with rust spots with damage to the front driver's side in Madison County. Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
The visitation for Mr. Croucher will be held Wednesday from 11 to 2 at Lake's Funeral Home in Berea. Croucher's funeral will follow. He'll be buried in Mount Vernon.
Police in central Kentucky are trying to track down a man wanted for an armed robbery. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Madison County. Deputies say a man came into the Midway Express gas station just after 6 this morning. They tell us the man pulled out a gun, threatened the clerk, and stole money. The man then left the gas station in a small red car. The clerk was not injured. The suspect was wearing a blue hooded sweatshirt with Kentucky across the front, dark pants, a toboggan, and sunglasses. In Pulaski County, state police have arrested 2 men on charges of possessing and distributing child pornography. Troopers say both 28-year-old Anthony Patterson and 53-year-old Jimmy Hammonds had photos of a child engaged in sexual acts on their computers. Patterson faces 20 counts of possession and 2 counts of distribution of matter portraying a sex performance by a minor. Hammonds faces 20 counts of possession and 5 counts of distribution. All of the charges are felonies, with each count punishable by 1 to 5 years in prison. And in Pike County, a judge will stay on the bench after he was accused of misconduct. Judge Stephen Combs was suspended with pay in June after he was accused of calling a police officer names and threatening to put a, quote, bullet to the head of the next officer that pulls him over. Today, he had a hearing with a Judicial Conduct Commission to decide his fate, and both sides were able to come to an agreement.
And that Judge Combs would be suspended as the Pike Circuit Court judge without pay for a period of 6 months.
Judge Combs' unpaid suspension will begin once the commission enters a final order. Part of the deal says Judge Combs has to be evaluated at the Kentucky Lawyers Assistance Program and follow any recommendation they have. He is also not to retaliate against any witness.
Just a few days of summer left, and we're tracking some great weather as we wrap up the summer days. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at a beautiful forecast.
Yeah, it really is awfully nice. We've said that a lot so far for the month of September. Those nice weather days just rolling on. Defended with a little cloud cover across southeastern Kentucky. Temperatures on there as well. Low 70s to mid 70s farther north that we go, where we have more in the way of a little sunshine. But those clouds still wandering by that skyline should set the stage for for a very nice sunset into much of the region. A little look outside, courtesy of our live sky cams. We take you into Frankfort, into Lexington, and toward the Madison County area. Beautiful skies out there. Notice, though, on that Lexington cam, we've got it aimed toward the southern horizon. If we were aiming it toward the north, you'd see just blue skies out there. But just across southern Fayette County, down into Madison County, more in the way of clouds. Those are the clouds we were showing you into parts of southeastern Kentucky just a little bit ago. Very nice temperatures headlining the forecast over the next several days as our weather stays mainly on the dry side, though we focus on the eastern sky for the potential for some late week showers. When I come back in about 10 minutes, guys, we'll focus on a forecast that does have the weather kind of going in reverse, at least for a little while. I'll show you what I mean by that just ahead.
Thank you, Chris. Time's running out for folks who need to apply for financial help after July's flooding. The deadline to register for FEMA assistance is October 12th. So far, FEMA officials have approved more than $4.5 million for individual assistance. And later this week, the 2 disaster recovery centers in Kentucky will transition to disaster loan outreach centers. The centers in Carter and Johnson counties will make that change on Wednesday. Well, power's back on in the southwest part of Lexington about 11 this morning. KU tells us that a squirrel got into a substation and caused a power outage. Power was out in the Harrisburg Road area near New Circle for about an hour. But within the last hour, we've learned about another outage in Lexington. This one is a broadband outage. A spokesperson for Windstream tells us a router has failed and they're working on the issue. About 22,000 customers are affected.
Help is wanted and wanted soon. With just 2 weeks until Keeneland's fall meet, racetrack officials still need to hire dozens of more workers. Race officials are expecting more people than normal because of the Breeders' Cup next month, and they need to hire more staff than usual. New at 5:30, Mike Linden is talking to officials about what positions still need to be filled.
With less than 2 weeks until the start of the Keeneland fall meet, race officials are looking to the public for help.
We are expecting to have record-breaking crowds here, as you know, for Breeders' Cup, and so that also means that we'll need to increase our staffing as well.
Witherspoon says Keeneland is looking to fill operational and food and beverage positions for the races.
We're looking for prep cooks and line cooks, bar backs, dishwashers, food handlers, and a few more.
She says a fall meet usually includes about 1,000 seasonal employees, but this year, more help is needed.
We will probably jump up to close to 1,500 employees this fall race meet, just to include additional training for Breeders' Cup.
Keeneland officials say they are looking to fill the seasonal positions quickly. If you apply in person here at the general office near the east entrance, they say it could take anywhere between a half an hour to an hour to both interview and get the job.
With upwards of 20,000 visitors each day of the fall meet and near 40,000 each day for the Breeders' Cup, officials say seasonal help is vital this year.
Those are the people that interact with our fans more than anyone, and so it's critical that we have people, enough people and people who want to be here and want to be a part of it and are friendly faces to help people along their way and enjoy their day.
In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
If you are still looking for tickets for the Breeders' Cup, you're in luck. Tickets are still available for the Hill at Keeneland for Breeders' Cup weekend at $50 per car.
Protecting your personal information is crucial, and the hard truth is you have to be very careful, even with folks you normally would trust, like, for example, folks at a doctor's office.
Someone had tried to take a credit card out in our name.
Glennie Thompson credits Fraud Alert for letting her know something was wrong. She immediately called her bank.
They said someone had signed, made purchases in my name. I had never been to that store and had never used that credit card.
More than $1,000 charged to a fraudulent credit card taken out in her name.
I went from being upset to livid to saying that I was not going to be passive. I was going to do something about the fact that my ID had been violated and, for purchases that I had not made.
She reported the fraud to police, who launched an investigation. Postal inspectors got a break. The suspects were caught using one of the fraudulent credit cards at a store. The suspects, Sheila Clark Lewis and Shazika Thomas, were known to authorities.
They were lifelong criminals. Both of them were actually on federal probation for aggravated identity theft when all of these crimes occurred.
Turns out Thomas worked at a medical answering service used by Glenny's doctors' offices.
That was a double violation of my rights.
This case prompted some local medical offices and hospitals to change the way they communicate.
Change their procedures as far as sending patient records and information to an answering service in order to prevent these types of issues from occurring in the future.
Both suspects in this case pled guilty to aggravated ID theft and conspiracy. They received more than 5 years in prison.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Candidates for Kentucky's lieutenant governor are getting ready for another debate this week, and this one will be at Midway University.
And presidential candidate Jeb Bush is planning on making a stop in the Bluegrass. Bill Bryant has the details on his visit in the bottom line.
Good evening. The partisan candidates for lieutenant governor are getting ready for a televised debate at midweek at Midway University. Democrat Sandy Overly is the running mate of candidate for governor Jack Conway, and Republican Janine Hampton is on the ticket with Republican nominee Matt Bevin. Heather Curtis, the running mate and wife of independent candidate Drew Curtis, has not been invited because so far that ticket has not reached the level of support in polling set out by the League of Women Voters, who is organizing the debate. Now, we'll be presenting a live stream of the debate from 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday on WKYT.com, and WKYT News will air the debate at 10 p.m. Wednesday evening on the CW Lexington.
Jack Conway. He stood up against Barack Obama to protect Kentucky jobs.
The Conway campaign today unveiled an ad aimed at convincing Kentuckians that he is a supporter of coal. It points out that he sued the EPA over tough emissions regulations and has the candidate saying coal puts food on the table of our families. Republicans have been criticizing Conway over coal, and Matt Bevin's first ad in the race links Conway to President Obama on several issues. Jeb Bush will be in Kentucky later this week. He will appear in Louisville for a fundraiser Thursday, and keen observers say that's a signal that he plans to compete for Kentucky's delegates in the state's rare Republican caucus next March 5th. That caucus is now set because Senator Rand Paul ponied up $250,000 to cover expenses of a caucus. That will allow him to continue to run for president while seeking re-election to his Senate seat. State law would not let him appear on the same ballot for two different offices. Meanwhile, new polling out of New Hampshire today shows a surge for Carly Fiorina after last week's debate. She's running second to Donald Trump in the first primary state. A Kentucky chapter of a draft Joe Biden movement getting started on the Democratic side, but a new CNN ORC poll shows Hillary Clinton with a big lead nationally among Democrats. Without Biden, she leads Senator Bernie Sanders by more than 2-1. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A battle over business in the Bluegrass. Florida Governor Rick Scott is traveling to Kentucky and trying to lure business away.
Tomorrow, Governor Scott will be in Lexington to announce the new jobs coming to Florida from a Kentucky company. Earlier this month, Scott said that Kentucky, not Florida, was #1 in the nation for economic development projects per capita in 2014. A group called Enterprise Florida has also been running radio ads in Kentucky designed to draw businesses south. This afternoon, Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear released a statement about Governor Scott's visit. He said, quote, "Instead of wasting his time in Kentucky, Governor Scott ought to be closing the roads leading out of Florida to stop all the folks who want to leave because they are sick and tired of paying the outrageous property taxes in that state."
Now.